So what's the one skill that can truly make or break any big project? It's probably not what you think. Today, we're going to demystify business modeling. And no, we're not talking about a fashion runway, but it is all about showcasing information to get everyone on the same page with absolute clarity. Let's dive in.
Okay, so before we can get to the solution, we've got to talk about the problem. Every single complex project, I don't care what industry you're in, has this hidden saboteur, a single point of failure that can bring the whole thing crashing down. What do you think it is?
If you had to put money on it, the single most critical skill for a project to succeed, what would you say? Is it technical skill? Maybe some fancy coding language? What about AI engineering? Well, the answer might actually surprise you.
Get this, a recent survey asked this exact question, and the top-rated skill, with a massive 80% of people agreeing, was communication and collaboration. That's right, more than all the technical wizardry, it's the simple ability for people to understand each other that matters most.
And here's where it all gets messy, right? A project is a mix of all these different voices. You've got testers, developers, architects, clients, the whole crew. And each one has their own perspective, their own language, their own priorities. It's in this chaos that ambiguity, misunderstandings, and conflict just love to pop up.
So, how do we fix this? How do we turn this potential disaster into a well-oiled machine? The answer is surprisingly simple. It's modeling. Just imagine a shared blueprint that everyone, from the developer in the weeds to the CEO in the corner office, can look at and instantly understand. That's what we're aiming for.
At its heart, modeling is really just about telling a story with information. It's a structured way to capture everything you know using text, tables, and especially diagrams. The goal? It's simple, to create one single source of truth that cuts through all the noise and gets everybody perfectly aligned.
You know, the analogy to fashion design is just perfect. A model on a runway showcases a designer's vision so everyone can see it and get it. Well, a business model does the exact same thing, but instead of clothes, it's showcasing information, processes, and systems. It makes all those fuzzy, abstract ideas totally concrete.
Okay, so we know why modeling is so critical, but let's get practical. How do we actually do it? Well, there are really three main formats in the modeling toolkit, and each one has its own special superpower.
But first, check this out. There is a powerful 80-20 rule at play here. A huge 80% of business analysis modeling comes down to diagrams. Why is that? Because our brains are hardwired for visuals. We process images something like 60,000 times faster than text. So visuals aren't just helpful, they're basically a shortcut to clarity.
The first and simplest format is, of course, text. Usually you'll see it in bullet points, just like this. This is perfect for jotting down your first ideas, making a quick outline, or just explaining a concept in a simple, straightforward way. It's your starting block.
Next up, we have tables. These are fantastic when you need to organize detailed, structured information. If you're listing out specific requirements, tracking data, or comparing a bunch of options, a table gives you a super clean, grid-like format that's really easy to scan and understand.
And that brings us to the most powerful format of all, diagrams. This is where visual thinking and systems thinking really come alive. Diagrams let us map out complicated processes, relationships, and flows in a way that words and tables just can't. They let us finally see the entire forest, not just the individual trees.
But listen, it's not just about making pretty pictures. To really unlock the power of modeling, there are a few key principles you need to have in your back pocket. Ready to seriously level up your clarity game? Here's a golden rule to live by, seriously. Model first, then analyze. You simply can't pick apart something you haven't clearly defined yet. The model, whether it's a document or a diagram, is your roadmap. Without it, you're just driving completely blind.
This is where we kind of put on our detective hats. Analysis is all about taking the whole thing apart to see how all the little pieces work. Synthesis is about putting it all back together to see the grand design. A great model lets you switch between these two views effortlessly. You can zoom in on the details, then zoom right back out to see the whole system.
Now, to make sure our diagrams aren't just a bunch of random scribbles, we use standards like UML, which stands for Unified Modeling Language. Think of it as a universal alphabet of symbols and shapes. An arrow means the same thing to a developer in India as it does to a client in New York. It's this shared visual language that guarantees everyone is on the same page.
All right, theory is great, but let's get our hands dirty.
It's time to assemble your personal modeling toolkit, complete with the right software and a simple, repeatable process to get you started right away.
And you absolutely do not need to be a graphic designer to do this. There are fantastic, user-friendly tools out there like Microsoft Visio, Lucidchart, and even great free web-based tools like Draw.io. They give you all the standard shapes and symbols you'll ever need to make professional, clear diagrams.
And here's the whole process in 4 simple steps. First, you gather your information, talking to people, running workshops. Second, you choose your format, text, table, or diagram. Third, you actually build the model. And fourth, you analyze it and make it better. It's a cycle, and with every single loop, you get closer and closer to total clarity.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. We've all heard that saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words. But when it comes to the success of your next big project, what is the value of a truly shared understanding among every single person on that team? That's the real power that modeling brings to the table.